Now, from WYDC TV, this is Big Fox News at 10.
Stripped of his emergency powers, New York legislators struck a deal to take away pandemic-related powers from Governor Andrew Cuomo as calls mount for him to resign. Big Fox's Matt Kleindens tells us what this means for New Yorkers.
Good evening. The bill came out just last night and aims to strip Governor Cuomo of his emergency powers and return matters like lockdowns back to the local level, something that Assembly members like Phil Palmisano have been arguing for months.
It's long past due that we finally restore checks and balances back to our state government.
Like many New York Republicans, Phil Palmisano has been calling for Governor Cuomo to have his pandemic-related emergency executive powers rolled back. On Tuesday night, legislators in both chambers agreed to a deal to strip back executive authority. Outlines of the bill were tweeted out by Assemblywoman Carrie Werner, who says the bill will repeal any extraordinary powers granted to Cuomo last year, restore the rights of local governments to issue executive orders without state approval, and increase transparency in all executive orders issued by Governor Cuomo. Palmisano says he and his staff need to delve further into the details of the bill before it's voted on. He has some concerns based on the early reports.
The governor wouldn't be able to issue new orders, but he would be able to extend or renew existing orders that he'd already acted upon. Is there an expiration date? I mean, because these emergency powers were set to expire next month anyway. If they just extend the powers to him so he can continue to renew orders, I think that's unacceptable. If he does try to extend an order or renew it, where they require full legislature approval.
Palmisano says the bill should focus on stripping Governor Cuomo's powers to restore co-equal governance with the legislator.
They shouldn't just be giving him carte blanche, free reign to extend and renew existing orders that he's been doing over the past year.
The final vote will likely happen as early as Friday. Matt Kleindens, Big Fox, WYDC in Corning.
Today, a shipment of the new Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine arriving at Northwell Health's South Shore University Hospital in Bayshore, a community on Long Island, New York. Health officials say the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, which requires just a single dose without deep freeze storage, promises to vastly accelerate inoculation efforts. Drug maker Merck will help with production of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. President Biden says he expects there to be enough vaccine doses for all adults in the country by the end of May. Senate Democratic leaders have struck a deal with President Joe Biden to give direct payments to fewer people in the next COVID bill. But as Britt Conway reports, some cities and states aren't waiting on the federal government. Instead, they're pushing forward, easing health restrictions put in place to prevent the spread of the virus.
This is not the time to relax restrictions.
But it's happening in areas around the country. Texas is rolling back everything.
Too many Texans have been sidelined from employment opportunities.
There will be a lot of businesses that are going to pull down those mask mandates.
In Mississippi, masks won't be required anymore.
This new order removes all of our county mask mandates and allows businesses to operate at full capacity.
Woohoo! I'm about done with masks.
Kentucky, Louisiana, Massachusetts, Michigan, and Pennsylvania are all easing capacity restrictions. So is the city of Chicago. South Carolina is eliminating restrictions on alcohol sales and large gatherings. And Florida is bracing for spring break. Certainly, there's optimism about the vaccines.
We're now on track to have enough vaccine supply for every adult in America by the end of May.
But health experts and healthcare workers caution against looser guidelines.
It is really risky to say it's over.
We still have COVID patients. It's not like the COVID patients are gone. It's not like they're not dying.
The federal government promises relief is coming, but lawmakers are still battling over exactly what that'll look like as millions of Americans inch closer to their extended unemployment benefits starting to run out March 14th. I'm Britt Conway reporting.
Some health officials are concerned about a decline in COVID-19 testing. The COVID Tracking Project shows test rates have dipped by a quarter since mid-January. The CDC says those tests are critical to controlling the pandemic, even as vaccinations are getting underway. The agency points to case numbers that are plateauing and coronavirus variants that are spreading. SUNY Chancellor Jim Molitros made his first visit to Corning Community College this afternoon. His visit comes on the heels of SUNY announcing the expansion of its free online training center. This will make certification programs flexible, allowing students to take courses at any time throughout the year. The launch represents the next phase in the Chancellor's SUNY for All campaign.
Let's keep breaking down barriers. Let's empower individuals to get a degree or a credential because the workforce demands it. When 70% of all new jobs created in the United States of America require some post-secondary education, more people need to get educated.
Those who complete online training programs and have a high school diploma are automatically accepted into all 30 community colleges in SUNY, as well as SUNY Empire State College and SUNY Canton. A new report states the number of COVID cases in nursing homes has dropped significantly. The American Healthcare Association and National Center for Assisted Living, which represents 14,000 facilities, says cases in nursing homes have dropped to their lowest level since the government started tracking weekly COVID cases in nursing homes. According to the report, nursing homes have seen an 82% drop in new cases when compared to last year's peak. Some of the people who need the COVID vaccine the most are also the least able to seek it out. It's a problem well known to leaders, and some medical centers are starting their own programs to address it. Adrienne Broadus has the story.
You're good. Jackie Blumenberg just got vaccinated in her own home. Now it's her mother's turn.
All right, here we go.
Jackie and her mom, 90-year-old Hattie, are getting the COVID vaccine thanks to a mobile program from Rush University Medical Center. They have limited transportation, and Hattie can only get out of the house if someone carries her.
It's a blessing and it's great. I hope everybody that take it, that they do well.
A few miles away,
Tell her she's just going to feel a little pinch.
a vaccination team is at the Flores home. They're also among 120 people in the program targeting those hardest hit by COVID. 71 people have received the vaccine.
This is like a blessing to have somebody come to the house, especially when you have a Latina, 92-year-old beautiful mother that has dementia and cannot do hardly nothing for herself.
But there's a problem. Not everyone who needs the shot gets it, and it falls along racial lines. The Kaiser Family Foundation tracks vaccination rates in 27 states by race and ethnicity. According to their data, the overall vaccination rate among white people is about 3 times higher than the rate for Latinos, and it's twice as high as the rate for blacks. The challenge in Chicago and cities all over the country is many of the most vulnerable residents are going unvaccinated.
There's structural racism that underlies all the structures in our city. We know that there's structural racism in the healthcare sector as well.
In this case, many on Chicago's west side live in a pharmacy desert and can't get themselves to a vaccine. The effect is clear in the numbers. As of mid-February in Illinois, Latinos make up 26% of COVID cases, but only 9% of vaccinations. In Maryland, blacks make up 33% of cases, but only 16% of vaccinations. And in California, the numbers are staggering. Latinos account for 55% of COVID cases, but only 18% of vaccinations. It's a problem President Biden says he's trying to fix.
The fact is, if you're 70 years old, you don't have a vehicle, and you live in a tough neighborhood, meaning it's a high concentration of COVID, you're not likely to be able to walk 5 miles to go get a vaccine.
The president's COVID package includes funding for mobile vaccinations, which have begun in states like Texas, California, and Massachusetts. Texas is starting a door-to-door program. Jackie and her mom say this program may have saved them, not only from the virus, but from an unequal system that nearly left them behind.
There's nobody no above no one. Every nationality, every race, the same way. We bleed the same, we die the same.
At least 13 people were killed in a car accident Tuesday morning when an SUV was struck by a semi-truck in rural Southern California, and several other people remain hospitalized. Camila Bernal is in El Centro, California, where authorities still have more questions than answers.
It would be premature of me to speculate on what happened at this collision. The important thing is that 13 people died in this crash.
Authorities towing away the Ford Expedition that was involved in a mass casualty accident Tuesday when it was struck by a semi-truck. They say this SUV that normally seats 8 passengers was packed with 25 people at the time of the crash.
There's not enough safety restraints to safely keep those people within the vehicle.
The California Highway Patrol does not know why there were so many people in the Expedition, but did say the seats in the back had been removed. All of those killed were in the SUV, including its driver. The driver of the semi-truck sustained moderate injuries.
Injuries ranging from fractures to head injuries, life-threatening head injuries, chest injuries.
Information as to where the SUV was headed has not been released, but the crash happening near the U.S.-Mexico border, where many cross back and forth every day for work. The Mexican consulate said at least 10 of the victims were Mexican nationals. In El Centro, California, I'm Camila Bernal.
Still ahead tonight, with limited vaccine supplies, some are arguing the U.S. should only give out 1 dose of the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines to provide more supply for others. Why the first 2 vaccines approved in the U.S. are now at the center of a debate.
Here's your local stock market update from Big Fox. Now, your Twin Tiers forecast from Big Fox.
Tonight's Big Fox forecast is brought to you by William Mattar. I'm meteorologist Kim Walker with your weather update. Feeling a little bit better today, at least a little bit warmer. Temperatures reporting about 20 degrees warmer in Elmira, about 18 degrees warmer in Watkins Glen as well as in Bath, and about 14 degrees warmer in Corning. So a big change from yesterday. Winds were brisk early today, but then they started to calm down. Right now, less than 10 miles per hour across our area, and that's really going to allow those temperatures to drop down. By tomorrow, I'm expecting a little bit cooler conditions as a cold front comes in. In addition to that, we also have the possibility of some snow. We'll take a look at the timing of it in just a little bit. But let's take a look at your hourly planner. We're going to start off with readings around 30 degrees at around 8 o'clock. And it looks like we really don't warm up all that much throughout the day. There is the possibility of a few snow showers as well, especially in the late morning into the early afternoon. By 2 o'clock, readings will be around 32 degrees. It will feel like 22 though, and then we drop down into the 20s by the early evening hours. Our future radar is showing for the next few hours there could be a few flurries and then a few snow showers as we start off tomorrow morning at around 6 o'clock. This particular model is showing a few snow showers in Hornell as well as in Bath, Corning, Elmira getting in on the action as well. And then we're going to taper it down a little bit by the late morning. By the afternoon, it looks like things will start to clear out and we should see a little bit drier conditions. And then we have another possibility of some snow late on Friday into early Saturday with another system that will be pushing through the region. So our snow chances not over with just yet. Tonight it is going to be cold. We drop down to around 30 degrees in Elmira, just a tad below freezing at around 31 in Corning, 25 degrees in Perkinsville, and 28 degrees in Hornell. We are expecting a few snow showers to start tonight and continue through the morning hours tomorrow. Take a look at those highs, not much of a difference. 32 degrees, the high in Elmira, 31 in Corning, so we're not going to really warm up all that much throughout the day. And then sunshine returns as we head toward your Friday. By Friday night, there will be another storm system that will come in that will bring the possibility of a few snow showers. We should start to dry out over the weekend, but it is going to be colder on Saturday with the high around 30 degrees. We drop down into the teens Sunday morning, but take a look at these temperatures heading into early next week. 46 degrees on Monday, and then even warmer conditions on Tuesday and Wednesday as clouds start to increase. So do those temperatures. Highs on Wednesday could be around 55 degrees with overnight lows in the 30s.
In the war on COVID-19, getting a vaccine is important. That's something top U.S. health experts agree upon. But with limited vaccine supplies, some are arguing the U.S. should only give out 1 dose of the Moderna and Pfizer vaccines to provide more supplies for others. But the CDC disagrees. Mandy Gaither has more in today's Health Minute.
With vaccine scarcity and an eye towards protecting as many Americans as possible, the first 2 vaccines approved in the U.S. are now at the center of a debate.
I would much rather listen to Dr. Fauci, who's a trusted national expert. What we know is that the science shows for the Pfizer and Moderna vaccine, in order to be fully protected, you need to get at least 2 doses.
When it comes to the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines, the CDC says 2 doses offer better protection from coronavirus variants, which are believed to be more contagious. But former Surgeon General Dr. Jerome Adams, who served under President Trump, tweeted, "Good protection for many with 1 shot is better than great protection for a few. 2,000 people a day are dying because they can't get a first COVID-19 shot, not because they can't get a second." Later clarifying with, "I'm not saying it's 100% the right way to go. I'm saying there's enough data/evidence to suggest it's not 100% the wrong way to go."
Do you have an appointment?
As vaccinations across the country continue, CDC advisors are mixed on whether those who have recovered from a coronavirus infection should get just a single dose, stretching vaccine supplies and making the vaccination process easier. Some experts say the natural infection could act as a first dose, but as of now, the CDC policy is to give everyone 2 doses of the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines at the recommended intervals. For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Minneapolis is among the many cities in the U.S. struggling to stay afloat during the COVID-19 pandemic. And next week, the trial for the police officer facing charges for George Floyd's death starts in the city. And that has city businesses unsure about how being in the spotlight will affect them. Reg Chapman reports.
A barren downtown Minneapolis translates to barely a soul walking through the Skyway. Many businesses have shut down, and those that remain are having a tough time paying the bills.
Well, it's been pretty inconsistent. We've kind of picked up once the winter came around, and we've got a lot of loyal customers who are coming to work.
For 13 years, Dave's Downtown has been a lunch favorite for many.
We're almost a year to this thing, and we've made it so far.
But COVID-19 sent many who made this a daily stop home to work, leaving owners wondering how they would survive.
It's been 10% of the business, basically. It's been pretty hard.
Several sky blocks away, Janelli's Pizza is also counting on regulars to keep the doors open. Both of these businesses remain hopeful. Skyway business owners hope the Derek Chauvin trial brings more people downtown, giving their businesses a much-needed financial boost.
We're planning on being open because people got to work, and there's a lot of security guards who need to eat, news people need to eat, and people who are just downtown for whatever reason. These owners can see the preparations for the trial, barriers and barbed wire, all part of Operation Safety Net. They have confidence in Minneapolis Police, its law enforcement partners, as well as the National Guard will keep people and property safe while supporting the First Amendment rights of people to protest.
We're going to stay open. We're not concerned about safety. It seems like they got everything covered. We're going to stay open because we figured that's also going to bring more business downtown.
Business she hopes will help the bottom line and keep the Skyway, the stores and restaurants inside it, open.
A California teen got a big surprise from Chase Bank for his 18th birthday in honor of his name being the same as the bank's. Marie Ettinger has the story.
Chase Banks hears a lot of jokes about his name.
Like everyone, my name's Chase Banks. Everyone they'll send me pictures on Snapchat of the bank and stuff. They're like, "Hey, look, it's your house," and stuff like that.
But he's never seemed to mind. In fact, he's making the most of it, collecting memorabilia with his name on it, the bank's name on it.
About 3 months ago, I had wrote to them because I was looking for a Chase Banks decal for his truck that we were getting him, and I couldn't find one. So I had just messaged the bank and asked if they could get me one that I could buy.
The bank went a step further.
How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Surprising Chase with all sorts of Chase Bank goodies for his 18th birthday.
I thought it was crazy. There's a dog at my door. Yeah, I had no idea. It was new to me today.
Just getting to be a part of the celebration for him, when you work for the industry that I'm in, you're constantly connecting with people and their personal lives. And so getting to be a part of his personal celebration just was an honor for me.
This is Chase's senior year, spending it away from school, away from friends, not getting to play baseball like he's used to. It's been rough. The visit made the year more memorable, this time for a good reason.
It definitely brightened up. It made my whole year basically. It was very unexpected and different for this time. It was very nice.
you may be able to breathe a little easier the next time you play roulette or blackjack. The COVID-19 pandemic means more than 200 casinos must stub out tobacco products, according to the CDC. Brian King of the CDC's Office on Smoking and Health says this smoke-free movement probably wouldn't have happened without the concerns brought on by the coronavirus. King calls this, quote, a silver lining. No word yet on if any of the casinos will stay tobacco-free after COVID-19 restrictions ease and more Americans get vaccinated. Angelina Jolie smashed a record this week, not at the box office, on the auction block. She sold a painting by former British Prime Minister Winston Churchill for $11.5 million. That's more than 4 times as much as any other Churchill painting has fetched, and more than 3 times what it was estimated to sell for. The artwork is the only thing Churchill painted during World War II. He did it the day after watching a sunset with American President Franklin Roosevelt. Churchill gave the painting to FDR. Jolie's former husband, Brad Pitt, reportedly purchased the painting for her in 2011. A new cutting-edge technology is breathing new and eerie life into old still photographs. Jeremy Roth has today's Take a Look at This.
Genealogy company MyHeritage has debuted a new online tool that is the talk of the Twisted Tech town. The technology, called Deep Nostalgia, uses artificial intelligence to animate faces in old photographs, bringing them to bizarre life. The company used old family photographs to show off the tech, along with some famous ones like those of Oscar Wilde and Albert Einstein. I mean, come on, who couldn't use a little more of silly Einstein, am I right? In addition to animation, the site can also colorize and enhance old photos to make them shine. The digital simulations can feel both familiar and downright eerie. It's similar to technology used to make deepfakes, fake videos of real people, which has raised concerns about the spread of disinformation. Controversy aside, technology can do some truly amazing things. Like how about reading a more than 300-year-old sealed letter without actually opening it up? Before envelopes, people locked letters using intricate ways of folding the paper. A research team found a way to read one of these letters without breaking its seal. Experts didn't want to damage the fragile letters, which were found in an old trunk in the Netherlands, so they used a highly sensitive X-ray scanner and sophisticated computer algorithms to unlock, unfold, and understand the parchment virtually. Researchers found the letter, dated July of 1697, was a request for a certified copy of a death notice. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
Well, we want to leave you with a smile tonight. Green Bay Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers has donated $1 million to help businesses in his hometown. 80 locally owned restaurants and businesses in Chico, California have received grants from his organization. The Aaron Rodgers Small Business COVID-19 Fund helps businesses pay rent and operational costs. Rodgers notified 9 of the business owners they'd been approved for the money personally. He posted video of those conversations on his Instagram account. From our whole team, thanks for joining us. We hope you have a great night.